From ABC7, this is Game Time with Coach McVay, sponsored by Arrowhead.
Welcome to Game Time with Coach McVay. In your efforts to go 1-0 this week, the trade deadline in the rearview mirror, what do you like about this team moving forward?
Oh, I like that, we're getting some healthy bodies back. I like that, these guys have responded the right way. Obviously, the season's gone maybe a little bit differently than we anticipated up to this point, but there's still a lot of football left to be played. All you can ask is for the guys to be able to hit the reset button, learn from the previous things that we can do better, and that's collectively, players and coaches alike, and then be able to say, hey, let's put all of our effort into this week of preparation and let it all go hang out against the Bucs on Sunday.
Speaking of this week in preparation, Cam Akers back on the field.
Yep.
A, is it accurate to say you've mended the fence? And B, would we see him, or is it going to take a little bit?
There's a possibility. We're still working through some things. It's good to be able to get Cam back, be able to get on the same page. And he's back in the building. He's working. And, when he's right, we're a better football team. So what that means for his game status is still to be determined.
Ronnie Rivers ran the ball a lot. And last week we were talking about Kyren Williams being close. Can you update us on both those guys in terms of where you see them fitting in?
Yeah, Ronnie's done a good job. I was pleased with Ronnie. I think, Rashad Samuel's done a good job of being able to get him up to speed in a short amount of time. Kyron's a guy, he's worked through a couple different setbacks already in his rookie season, but whenever he's ready, we'll be a better football team. Whether that's this week or the following week is still up in the air as well.
So we talked about Matthew Stafford. When he scored the touchdown, I'm thinking you're saying there's Matthew Vick again.
There you go.
Tell us about this play.
This was good. I mean, we had, they made us earn the ability to punch this in, but we were trying to kind of run a little bootleg where we were trying to outflank to the flat. And Matthew said, man, they did a great job being able to cover it. And, excellent job just being able to have a nose for the pylon and being able to get skinny right at that front pylon, work in between two defenders, really 3 and 4 if you want. But he went airborne. He knew he got in, and a lot of guys get excited when they see that. And the spike is good if it goes out of the screen. So this is a nice job. We needed to be able to get this, and it was a really long drive. And certainly Matthew, kind of just went Matthew Vick, as you say right there, Curt. And guys are excited for him. That was a fun one.
The spike out of the screen. You guys got a little something going there on the film study when the spike goes?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've seen some that just kind of take about a two-foot bounce, and that's a, womp, womp, womp right there. But that was a good one. He was excited. People were happy for him, and that was a big play for us at that moment.
Yeah, it sure was. Cooper Kupp continues to impress. Coming off the ankle, he was really adamant yesterday about, hey, we're going to go 1-0 this week. Just really sets a great example. How's his health? He's always had great productivity against Tampa. Can you update us with him?
He's feeling good. Fortunately, when I made a bad decision to even put him in harm's way when the game was kind of out of hand already, he was okay. He's done a great job with Reggie and his group of being able to kind of get that swelling out of there, and he's moved around really well. So if you didn't know anything, I wouldn't know that he was at all, hampered by the ankle injury. He's ready to go, and he certainly is one of our greatest leaders.
As you said at the top of the show, hey, 3-4 is not where you want to be, but there is plenty of football left.
There is.
And Cooper was the one yesterday telling us we control our own destiny here. And because you've said about this is a time when adversity shows up, you look for guys who stand out. I don't know the inner workings of Cooper Kupp like you do, but he really seems to be taking this by the bull by the horn, so to speak.
I think so. I mean, I think we got a lot of mentally tough guys, Curt, and when things don't go the way that you want, you can either sulk and put your head down about why they haven't gone that way, or you can go back to work and try to be able to fix it and say, I don't want to have this feeling for any longer than what I'm in right now. And so that's all these guys can do. I've been pleased with Cooper and a lot of our other guys in terms of that response. And these are the moments where you get an opportunity to see how resilient people are, how they push through, because it's easy to be able to be great when everything is good, and it's easy to lead from the front. But when things aren't as exactly as you would like them to be, how do you respond within the framework of the things that you can control? That's a big part of it, is knowing the things that you can't control, expending your emotional energy and your focus and concentration on those things, and then not wasting your emotional energy on the things that are totally out of your control, or if they've already happened, how do you move forward and be in the present?
Sean, that's great life skills, not just football skills,
Yeah,
right?
no, and that's, sports is such a great indicator of being able to handle the ebbs and flows of the things that you work through in life, and that's why I think so many people love following it.
Leonard Floyd has worked through a lot with his injury that came. What was it like to see him get his first, not one, but 2 sacks?
It was great. Anytime that you can apply pressure, it's a great job by Aaron being able to get a double on the backside. But anytime that you can be able to win this quickly, and if you go right back to the very beginning, you talk about being able to win on the first phase of the snap. Great get off. Good job being able to work an edge on McGlinchey right here, and then to be able to finish. These are the types of plays that you have to be able to have consistently. And when you can do that and get home with a 4-man rush, that's really good because you're able to play loaded zone behind it. Excellent job by those guys. Good job by Sean and Copeland. AD being able to kind of draw those other players and then be able to find that isolation with he and McGlinchey one-on-one, and then he ended up making a great finish.
Raheem Morris called Aaron Donald yesterday the boogeyman. That he's as much a part of this sack as any, right? I mean,
there's no doubt about it. I mean, he affects the game in so many different ways where the attention, and you got to know where he is at all times, and he does enable guys to be able to get one-on-ones that in a lot of instances they wouldn't get otherwise.
Yeah.
And when he's one-on-one, he's about as automatic as it gets, and so I don't think it's by coincidence that guys that play around Aaron Donald usually play at their best, because that's what the greatest players do. They make others around them better, and certainly Aaron's done that, for a long time.
Your tight end, Tyler Higbee, is such a physical specimen. He's a stud.
He is.
And then when he got hurt, they told us in the press box, neck injury. How much did that affect him the rest of the game, and what's going on?
I think it did a little bit. I mean, as a tight end, you're asked to do so much. Block in line, detach from the core, run routes, different things like that. And so when you do get as physical and you're in some of that, those traffic areas, certainly it can hamper your ability to do certain things that we're asking of the tight ends. But he never says anything. He just goes about his business. You've heard me say this before, Curt. I see better than I hear, and his toughness is on display. I thought Bryson Hopkins did a nice job filling in, and then we even got Ty and Secchi in there on a couple of those goal line snaps.
Your offensive line, I talked to Brian Allen after the game. He said he felt really good. He was, excuse my French, pissed that they lost. But how is your offensive line coming together? I know it's been a lot of moving parts up front, but where are you at going into this week?
Yeah, a lot of moving parts. We're still working through some different stuff, but to be able to get Brian at the center spot, his command, his communication is key. And especially going on the road where you'll be on your silent count, that visual communication is at a premium. He does an excellent job with that. I've mentioned the rapport between he and Matthew and how important that is for our success and our continuity offensively. And so that was a step in the right direction, and then continuing to get everybody up to speed. But it's been there's been more moving parts than any situation I've ever been a part of. But this thing's got to keep rolling, and we got to be able to keep figuring out the best ways to put our guys in the right spots, and then they got to be able to go execute.
Are you hoping this is the last time you see Tom Brady?
I'm hoping so. He's incredible. The ability to sustain and play at such a high level over the period of time throughout the course of his career it's unprecedented, and he's the ultimate competitor. This is a great Bucs team. They're in a similar situation where maybe some frustrating things going on that haven't led them to perform to the way that they want to. Very similar to us, and I do believe, without a doubt, that they'll be ready to go, and we got to be able to do the same to try to get the result that we want.
Statistically, teams are getting the ball out faster than the league average against you guys, and Tom Brady is as good as that as anyone. Does that change defensively what you guys will do schematically when you meet with Raheem?
There's a possibility. I think a lot of the time that the ball's coming out, it's predicated on, all right, what type of concepts. Now, there's certain times where if the pocket collapses, Tom has a great feel for where his quick element throws are. But, if you're running screens, if you're running quick games, the ball's going to naturally come out faster just because of the timing of the play. If you're running play actions, those are a little bit longer developing. And so I think it's all predicated on the situational types of things that we're doing defensively. What are they trying to do to be able to counter that? But when you do have players that are great rushers like Aaron, we saw the Leonard Floyd sack, that's naturally a good thought process to be able to say, well, let's not let the pocket collapse. Let's not let this rush get home. And so you do see a lot of teams do that against us. Whether or not that's their approach, we'll be mindful of that. And I know Raheem and his coaching staff have a lot of contingency plans in place to try to be able to slow them down.
When Tampa won its opener in Dallas. Leonard Fournette runs for like 156 yards. And when they've struggled, he doesn't run and as well. Now, obviously, a lot of that, like you guys, injuries.
Yeah.
Is that, in your mind, one of the keys to slowing down Tom Brady? As much as he throws, is containing their running game?
There's no question. You know, anytime that you can slow an opponent's running game down, it makes you a little bit more regulated, makes you more one-dimensional, which makes it easier to be able to defend. And so, again, very similar situation that we're kind of working through, but that's always going to be a key emphasis from a defensive perspective, being able to slow and knock out the run so that you can get more pass downs, more opportunities to be able to rush the quarterback and potentially be able to do a lot of different things, whether it's coverage-wise or whether it's sending more than 4 guys forward. And so Raheem does an excellent job being able to mix it up with his group.
Mike Evans, what do you see when you see tape of this young man?
Excellent player. You know, the guy's production is as good as anybody over the course of his career. He's got the ability. He's got a great catch radius, and he's a guy that can win short, intermediate. He can track the ball incredibly well down the field. When he's covered, he's not covered. So he's always a great challenge to go against.
One of the things I've always enjoyed about you, Sean, is how much I learn about life. And you said a quote this week in reference to your grandfather, and sincere condolences.
I appreciate that.
Know what he meant to you. But you said you got a phone call or a text from someone who said, I'm going to have you say what that text was and what that meant.
It was, be the things, it's be the things that you love the most about those who are gone. And, there's just so many things that my grandpa embodied and represented. Most importantly was the character that he had, the relationships that he built, the integrity that he operated with, the trust that he established, and the consistent care and thoughtfulness, and just great disposition he had with everybody he met. I think one of the easiest things that, really you can find out about people is how do they treat people that can't necessarily do anything for them. And he was so steady, so consistent, so caring to everybody that he met. And his reputation and relationships that he established in the NFL is the only reason why I got an opportunity to finish up playing college ball and get right into the coaching profession at the NFL level. Because of what Sean McVay's legacy was and the man that he was, more importantly.
It was amazing that you mentioned that last week going into the 49ers a few days before he passes. But what you mentioned in the press conference that really touched my heart, quite frankly, is what your wife Veronica said about how he deals with people, and his wife had been in an accident, and would you mind sharing that story?
Yeah, so his wife Susan, she had an accident. It was a handful of years ago now, where she fell down the stairs and was paralyzed, and been on 24/7 care ever since then. And my wife Veronica, my mom Cindy, they've both said, and they have great just intuition and a great sense for people, that he's the sweetest man they've ever seen. Watching the way that he treats people, but watching the interaction that he and Susan have had, the way that he would just kind of, take care of her and be so loving, so considerate. And that's consistent with everybody, not just Susan, his wife.
Yeah.
And that's the man that he is. And, the amount of people that reached out to me this week, because of who my grandfather was, not because of the success that he had with the 49ers, but because of the man who he was. That's a life worth living. That's truly leaving a legacy, and that's understanding that really the only things that last are the relationships you build and the character that you have. Everything else is all temporary, and man, he sure had it figured out.
Well, we appreciate you sharing those stories. Hope you go 1-0, Sean.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Curt.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Get more great ABC7 content by clicking the subscribe button for our YouTube channel, and download the ABC7 Los Angeles streaming app on Fire TV, Android TV, Apple TV, and Roku to watch on your TV.